Hey, MGTOW, this is Vention. Well, I have a shocking revelation I would like to share with my current medical condition. And just just as an aside note, I wanted to mention why I'm not really plastering cancer all over my videos, because I don't want a bunch of people who are not subbed, who are just going to pile in and just to try to sell their cancer cure, or talk about the medical organization of the United States doesn't approve of blah blah blah. I don't want some kind of big huge freaking troll battle with a bunch of conventional medicine shills for cancer treatment and whatnot. These videos are almost entirely for my subscribers and those in the MGTOW community, and to a good extent the Bitcoin community as well. I don't want a bunch of people who I don't know piling in and causing a lot of confusion for the people I actually care about. So I have. Oh well, let me tell you the status of my cancer, or my project so far. I have kept with the extended water fast all the way up to until today, and I kind of sort of broke it because I had a little problem. I bought some graviola leaf, on powdered graviola leaf, which is like supposed to be like tremendously anti-cancer, and I took too much of it without reading the directions. I figured it's just a leaf, whatever, and I put like a half a coffee stirring spoon into my electrolyte solution, and then I just felt like a pain in my stomach, and then as the hours went on, it started traveling down a little bit, and it was clearly, my system was clearly having a serious problem with that stuff. So this morning, the pain, or I don't know if it was pain, it was like strong discomfort was still there. So I was looking for celery but didn't find any, and then I found some romaine salad mix, and threw it in a container, mixed up a quick vinaigrette of apple cider vinegar and olive oil, and for the dressing, and then I also made myself a bulletproof coffee, which is basically coffee with some cinnamon and a dab of butter, real butter, and then hit it with the hand blender, and basically I feel enormously better now, because I was having a problem. So in any case, if you want to call that failing my extended fast, I'm okay with that. But I still think that what I'm doing, what I've done, the salad thing, that's more like medicine than breaking the fast. I'm going to say that I'm continuing with my extended fast, and today is day 7, and I am now down to 207 pounds, and from 239 a few months ago. So yeah, no complaints there. But now I would like to cover this shocking revelation that I'm talking about. I have a strong suspicion that I may have had this cancer in my liver for 2 years, actually longer, probably 2 years and 6 months. And I have circumstantial evidence that I'd like to share for that, what I think is a fact. And that is, I was feeling this sensation in my back, like my computer chair was like poking me in the back, and it was like on my right side, right where my liver is, and it was like the third rib up, and I was so disturbed by it that that I actually tore the cushion. As you can see, this is my old computer chair. I just ripped part of the cushion out because it felt like right here something was just poking me in the back. And it was relentless. It was constant pain, and there was always soreness back there. And I was feeling, some significant pain when I would like lean back in my chair like that. And then finally, I got so sick of it, even after I cut open and got rid of a lot of the stuff, all the extended cushioning and whatnot in the chair. The poking sensation was still there. So finally, I said, "Well, the heck with it," and I purchased a new computer chair with more cushioning, because I've had that one back right there for. I've had that thing for like 10, 12 years. And there was even a point where one of the undercarriage was breaking, and I contacted the manufacturer and got some parts and fixed it. And basically, yeah, I've had it for a long time. So I figured, a new computer chair. And I just checked my encrypted database. Well, I did last night. For my purchases, and I keep an Excel sheet with all of my purchases. Well, my major purchases, things like barbecue and all my bills, electric bill and whatnot, and things that I hold on to for a long time. And according to the database, that Excel sheet, I purchased that new computer chair in early April of 2017, right? And the problem had been with me for like 7 months, maybe 6, 7 months. And it had been poking me in the back, and it was just driving me crazy. And then finally, even after the modifications I made to my chair, even afterward, I decided, well, okay, time to get a new computer chair. So I freed up the purse strings a little bit and bought a really nice computer chair for like 300 and something bucks. And it was better, but the sensation was still there. So I have a kneeling pad similar to this one right here, which is very important for mechanics to use, especially when you get old. Your knees, when you're kneeling on something like hard concrete, trying to do some work, it can screw your knees up for a day or more. My tolerance for that is like really low now. So in any case, let me show you what I'm dealing with. I'm going to pause it for a second. Okay, MGTOWs. The problem is right above my third rib. On the right hand side, and it was poking me in the back, like right there. And it was like relentless, and there was soreness all over it, and there was and it was just not good, and it was driving me crazy. And I love my computer chair. I love hanging out in online, and it just was really impacting the quality of my life. So I ended up making a few modifications to the chair, and even though, even with the additional cushioning of this nice computer chair here, it seemed to be poking me in the back, like right there. So this kneeling pad helped a lot, but now the problem has decreased dramatically over the last, I think I've been low carb, like moving toward the low carb lifestyle for like a year. And I think it's because, it's because of that problem that I was having, where, colon cancer, obviously, you end up bleeding out of your backside while you take a dump, right? And I noticed that when I didn't eat heavy carbs and sugar and all that, the problem would go away. And I've had a problem like that since I was in my 20s. And the problem was triggered by different things. Like originally, back in my 20s, that would happen when I would drink too much Diet Mountain Dew. Then in my 30s, it would happen when I when I used Alka-Seltzer Plus or NyQuil, something with diphenhydramine in it. I would have that same problem. And then, and in my 50s, the problem started reoccurring when I would go too heavy on sugar and carbs. And I'm of the opinion that I may have had this friggin' colon cancer a lot longer than I thought. So, and you can see, and it was like right around the third rib. And here, here's my PET scan picture that I snapped when I was at the doctor's office. And basically you can see the colon tumor glowing right there. And you can also see the one in the liver glowing like right there. And 1, 2, 3 on my right side, sure as shit, there is that glowing spot. So it is my opinion that I have had liver and colon cancer since at least late 2016, early 2017. So basically my suspicion and my belief, my current belief is that since I've had it so long, and basically the doctors are like acting as if it like just occurred overnight and it's an emergency thing. Within weeks I'm gonna die unless I get freaking chemo and radiation, massive radiation and all of that stuff, and this is what I have seen today is circumstantial evidence that's enough for me to basically accept or pretty strongly be suspicious that I have had cancer since early 2017. Because in April of 2017, that's when I bought my new chair, and I had already been kind of exasperated by the problem for like 8 months or something, while I was making modifications to my chair and just suffering. And if that's the case, if I'm right about this, the problem was at one time a good deal worse than it is now, because I was having a significant amount of pain every time I would lean back in my chair, right? And that pain is basically gone. But now that I know where the liver tumor is, I can kind of feel for it and feel, some kind of inflammation and maybe, I don't know about swelling, but some kind of irritation around that area, right on the third rib, in the back, in my back, sort of in between my spine and the very side of my ribs, maybe a little closer to the spine. That irritation is still there, but it's actually a lot smaller than it was, like vastly smaller now than it was in 2017. So my opinion of this cancer is that I've had it for a long time, more than the doctors would even begin to believe. And my system, even though I was pounding down Baskins and Robbins and going to having sodas, and when the other mechanics would have a lunch run to Burger King, they'd say Burger King, and I'd say yeah, and oftentimes I would pay with Bitcoins, and that got a few more of my fellow mechanics into Bitcoins. But basically, I am of the opinion, even though I was brutalizing the crap out of my whole metabolism and my body with all that poison, I am of the opinion that I've had this cancer a lot longer than anybody in the establishment would choose to believe. And even if I show them the circumstantial evidence and even pictures of my chair, there is very little chance that they would believe, because when your livelihood depends on having a certain belief system, you're going to hold on to that belief system as hard as you can. Well, at least most blue pill people will, until it becomes absolutely inescapable that you can't continue in that with that programming. So basically, my shocking revelation to basically, let's do an overview. You know, in the military, you always, when you're teaching a class, right, you always tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them, and then tell them what you told them, and then end the class, right? Well, now I'm going to tell you what I told you. First of all, my long-term fast, my water fast, I'm going to consider that it's still going, even though I had a problem, and I got this really strong anti-cancer herb, basically graviola leaf, and I took too much of it, and then I was having pain, and then I read the package, and it says only take a quarter teaspoon, and I took like 8 times the amount I was supposed to take on an empty stomach. So I ended up having to break my fast with a little bit of salad. So that's the case there. But I'm also down to 207 pounds, which is from 239. Well, that's all to the good, and I'm feeling pretty good. Yesterday and the day before, I was feeling pretty crappy, like massive food cravings, weakness and tiredness. I slept like half the day yesterday because it's my weekend. But if I feel tomorrow the way I feel now, I think I'm going to go back to work and work my normal job, because I'm, feeling pretty good. Okay, and then last, of course, I believe that I've had cancer for more than 2 years. And I guess I will close this video out. And thank you for your prayers and your attention and your well wishes and your advice. I've got some great advice from some of the commenters, and thank you very much. And don't get married.